From Winthrop University for the Democratic Candidates Forum here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's coming up tonight here by 8 Eastern, not far from now. We're back, by the way, with MSNBC's Steve Kornacki and Joy Reid. Let me ask you about the Democrats. We've been getting hot and heavy on the other one. Yeah. It's funny because the night the Democrats are meeting here and having these interviews with Rachel, that they have a little bit of stew cooking right now. But let's talk about the Democrats. Do you think Bernie Sanders is desperate, or he's just getting the level that you ought to be at in the campaign, which is fight with your opponent?
Right. Well, I think that Bernie Sanders has an imperative, which is that after the two states in which he has a natural advantage, Iowa, because it's a very liberal caucus state, and New Hampshire, which is the proximate media market of Vermont, he runs into a very big problem, which is that South Carolina is a state in which more than half of the electorate is African-American, and he is little known among African-American voters and doesn't have much support there. So Hillary Clinton can claim a firewall here because this is where she can claim a massive victory over him and then roll that into the subsequent
Let me ask you a sociological question. Is it true a lot of communities, minority communities, Jewish people, for example, they have to know you. It always helps to be the second generation, third generation, because I think I know that family. I think I know them. They're a little suspicious of the newcomer. Is that a problem with Bernie, that he's a newcomer, just per se among the African-American voters?
I'll tell you what, if you're a newcomer, it helps to be a newcomer in the way Bill Clinton was in '92, which is
but he'd been around a long time.
But he hadn't been around nationally. Yeah. And nationally, African-Americans came to know him through his style, which was a style that was very open, and it was immediately familiar and felt familiar. He felt like
he's a Southern boy.
Exactly. He had that affect that actually helped him overcome not being known, and he was able to sell himself.
I'm just wondering whether Hillary Clinton has a I want to ask you that.
Well, she has the name.
She has a tremendous head start on anybody. John Edwards or anybody.
Yeah, well,
from the old, since the pretty boy was mentioned earlier tonight, in a terrible comparison to Martin O'Malley. But anyway,
the numbers Joy is talking about are so striking now. Hillary Clinton's numbers everywhere are up over the last few weeks after the first debate. But a couple weeks ago, when this thing was tighter, there was a poll taken down here in South Carolina. It said among white Democrats in South Carolina, the race was tied. It was 47-46.
How many white Democrats are there in South Carolina?
About 10.
In the primary, it's about half and half. And among blacks, it was 80-8.
Yeah.
That was the swing.
I think they're here tonight, actually, the white Democrats in South Carolina. I think they're here. I think they're all here.
I got to tell you, at the risk of getting a hostile crowd going behind.
Oh, you did. I did it. It's easy.
Yeah, one of the challenges that Bernie Sanders is going to have is that the case that's been made on his behalf by his supporters has included some not exactly friendly confrontations with African Americans over whether or not black people ought to be quote-unquote feeling the burn. And the interactions, particularly on Black Lives Matter, between Bernie Sanders supporters and African Americans have not helped him. Because there's been a certain aspect of African Americans, I've talked to a lot of them, who feel lectured by Sanders supporters who say, well, he marched with King, therefore black people need to be with him. That is not a sufficient argument for African Americans. African Americans traditionally have asked two questions. Number one, are you on our side policy-wise? Number two, can you win? Those are the two questions that he has to answer, not did he march to with 250,000
I'm letting her dominate, but these are great questions. Again, speaking for an entire chunk of African Americans, do people in the community have more confidence in Southern white Democrats than Northern white Democrats because they know they're closer to them, they've been closer politically? They've had to deal with the right wing down here.
They know what they're dealing with. I think a lot of African Americans say we understand that guy. We know what we're dealing with.
And you had a guy like Clinton, for example, spent his whole life running against conservatives.
Absolutely. Look at the Republicans.
Whereas Bernie's been running against fellow liberals.
He's been in an almost entirely white state. He's been dealing mostly with issues of economics, not issues of race. So he's been clumsy out of the gate on issues of race. He just has been. And whatever his history was,
funny thing is, just 7 years ago, just 7 years ago, we were saying that Bill Clinton was clumsy about race. Now we're saying
he was in 08.
The legacy of the 2008 primary and the comments he made, the fact that Hillary Clinton's here sitting 8 years later, 80 points ahead among black voters in South Carolina, that is amazing.
Oh, by the way, there he is, Senator. He came up on me. Hold on, guys.